Welcome back, guys. All right, I guess we're live. We're live on both platforms. I have to make sure we are live. Yeah. Hey, welcome back to the show. We have a bunch of things to look into. Three main topics. Donald Trump had... so there's an incident in Florida where a hunting nest was found in a tree facing the location of an airfield where Air Force One was meant to be parked, and Donald Trump was meant to step off Air Force One there, and they found a hunting nest with a hunting bag. I assume that there was a rifle in the bag as well. We'll talk about that. We're also going to be looking at the flop that was the NoKings protest, and we'll talk about why we think that it was a flop. There are many ways to look at how much of a flop this was. And then finally, we're going to be looking at some of the shocking things that we're hearing coming from street-level progressives, people who identify as Democrats, and the kind of things that they say on the heels of being touted or identified as the peace-loving side of the political spectrum. We're going to jump into all that. So before we jump in, I guess I'll start out with this. Please consider supporting the channel by visiting the merch store. We have beautiful mugs and drinkware that will help you remember that if you're going through a hard time, that God will meet your needs. And that is the Heaven's Economy collection that we have currently showing up on the merch store. So consider supporting us by getting a travel mug or a regular mug. There are options, and I'm sure that one of them would suit your fancy. This comes from my own personal journey of trusting God for provision in my time of, being in between jobs and having to not be able to work. I had to print that out. So in my time of meditation and prayer, that came in very handy. And I just wanted to share that with you. We also have a link is pinned in the chat. You can see it in the chat. Please consider supporting us with a donation if you feel inclined to, so that we can keep doing what we're doing. All right. So I want to get that out of the way, and then we can start out with these opening videos. Now, Democrats want to make it sound like Donald Trump is bringing up new policies that have never been used before. They're unconstitutional. They're wrong. He's a racist and a bigot for doing that. Meanwhile, not too long ago, they were the ones pushing this. Have a listen.
Members of this committee, please turn your attention to the video screens.
All Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace as recommended by the commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our...
Members of this committee, please turn your attention.
All right, so it flipped over. This is Bill Clinton. Was Bill Clinton Democrat or Republican? Let me know in the comment section or in the chat. Was he Democrat or Republican? These are the exact same talking points that you hear from Donald Trump and most of the Republican Party. What on earth happened to the Democrat Party? Why did the Democrat Party suddenly become an America-hating, lawless political party that runs cover for illegal immigrants and criminals? How come they became that party? I guess we all know the answer, and that is they embraced socialists and communists who want to destroy America. That's basically what happened, because there's no how a political party can transform from the political party led by Bill Clinton, who said all of these things, to the political party that we see today that's organizing and backing the NoKings protest. And we're going to get to that. We're going to go through some footage. We're going to talk about a few things. Now, I wanted to play this because when you watch the disagreements and the vitriol, yeah, Clinton is a Democrat. Of course, it's not hard to see that there's a lot of hypocrisy there. Now, again, my question, is it hypocrisy, or is it just that the party was hijacked by socialists? It's strange to see what's happened to the Democrat Party. Now, the next video or next thing that I want us to look at is this write-up. Now, I'm not American, but I represent the sentiments of many people who are not citizens of the United States, but respect the history of the United States and wish that that could have been the history of our own countries. These are quotes by the founding fathers: Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Alexander Hamilton. We're going to read through this, but this post is from C. Reason, and he says, "I'm sick and tired of being called or considered a democracy. This just tells you how ignorant and truly uneducated the media and many politicians are. I don't think that they are uneducated. I think that it's an intentional strategy to rewrite history in real time. They accuse conservatives of rewriting history, but they're the ones who do it best. In fact, they're the ones who invented the whole idea of rewriting history. For example, the Democrat Party was a party that was heavily supported by the KKK. The Democrat Party was the party that pushed against abolition of slavery. The Democrat Party was a party that championed the Civil War. Why? Because they wanted to keep their slaves. The Democrat Party pushed against legislation to remove segregation in the Jim Crow South. How come we don't hear that today? My question also, now this is one thing that makes me question the Republican Party as well. How come the Republican Party doesn't say this at all? I didn't find this out from the Republican Party or from any of their candidates. I found it out from doing my own research. So how come it's never said? America is a constitutional republic. That is how the founding fathers made this country. Now let's read these statements by the founding fathers. Thomas Jefferson said, "A democracy is nothing more than mob rule, where 51% of the people may take away the rights of the other 49. These are the sentiments of the founding fathers. John Adams said, "Remember, democracy never lasts long. It soon wastes, exhausts, and murders itself. There never was a democracy yet that did not commit suicide." This was John Quincy Adams. Benjamin Franklin: "Democracy is two wolves and a lamb voting on what to have for lunch. Liberty is a well-armed lamb contesting the vote." This is Benjamin Franklin. I like to bring up these things because whenever I, an immigrant, am speaking on these issues, I have strange Americans, if I can consider them Americans. Now, there's a quote in the Bible by the Apostle Paul. He said that there are those who are Israelites, but they are not really of Israel. And I think that we can use that for the United States. There are those who claim to be Americans, but they are not Americans. Because being American, I think, doesn't just mean being born in the United States of America. It means carrying the spirit of freedom that America has represented for hundreds of years. So that's something that we need to begin to insist on. If I hear a politician talk in a way that is anti-American, I'll say this guy is not American. He may carry a blue passport, but he's not American. Alexander Hamilton said, "We are a Republican government. Real liberty is never found in despotism or in the extremes of democracy." When you hear Democrats saying, we're trying to defend our democracy, we are a democracy, they are going hard against the wishes of the founding fathers. They've tried to smear the founding fathers in order to discredit them, to say these were slave owners and therefore whatever they have to say doesn't matter. They try to do all of that in order to rewrite history. And we have to be wiser than that. Now, the NoKings protest was very interesting, but they don't want you to remember that there's this article that was published by CNN on June 8th, 2012. It was titled, "Liberals Want Obama to be a king, not a president." For liberals, it's okay when their candidate acts like a king. And that's basically what Obama did in some cases. And even Joe Biden had some of those tendencies with the draconian rules on the vaccinations and trying to make sure that people were forced to take the vaccines. Else, they gave the corporations carte blanche to be able to fire people if they didn't take the vaccines. They laid off service members who refused to take the vaccines. Is that constitutional? Or was that the action of a king? CNN said liberals want Obama to be a king, not a president. Why? Because liberals kept complaining about how Obama was hamstrung by the constitutional safeguards that was that was Congress. Congress wouldn't let him do certain things, and they wanted him to be able to go as far as he needed to go, but he couldn't because of Congress, and they wanted him to be able to overrule Congress. I remember one video that I saw of Obama. I think he was talking. What was it? The State of the Union. He was talking about some amendments, or I think it was Obamacare or something. There were a bunch of things that he was trying to push. And he was saying that if Congress doesn't do this, he'll veto it. And he kept using that statement. I didn't understand much of what was going on there. And now that I look back, I'm like, okay, this guy was essentially bragging that he would use his presidential powers to the fullest extent if Congress stood in his way. That's what the liberals support. But when it comes to a Republican president who really loves his country and wants to do the best thing for his country, they're like, you're a king. He's using the Constitution. If Trump was a king, that protest would never have happened. All right. Now let me know in the comments. I'm going to at a point in the show, as you can see on my browser, you can see a section that says comments. We're going to go through the comments. You're going to see some of the most outlandish comments out there. They're really outlandish, and you're also going to see some really common sense comments. I want to thank you guys who went into the comment section and made your voices heard. I appreciate it, and I thank you so much for it. I would love for more comments and engagement in the live chat, because it will enrich the show and help us to actually bring out the best in our conversations. All right, so this is why you homeschool your kids, Planet of Memes says, and why Charlie Kirk said college was a scam. Let's listen to this individual before we start looking at how... now, I'm having an internal conflict, and I think what I want to do first is to cover the story on the potential attempt on President Trump's life. I'll just get that out of the way, because it's a very short story. We can go through it, talk about our thoughts, and then move on. But one of the things that I wanted to lead into was the fact that there's a lot of violent rhetoric coming from the left. The left is saying all these things. Last week, we saw Chuck Schumer calling for people to violently resist President Trump. And then a few days later, you have a hunting perch conveniently in the line of sight, within the line of sight of Air Force One, where Air Force One is meant to park. Now, you might say, well, the hunting perch was for a hunter in the middle of Florida. There's no hunting happening within the city. So how do you defend that? And then we hear the narrative, oh, there's violent rhetoric on both sides. The GOP has to tone down the rhetoric. They are the ones who are ramping up the rhetoric, not the GOP. I listen to the GOP. I listen to the Democrats. The Democrats are the ones who are calling for violence. You have their lackeys in the media calling for people to rise up and arm themselves. Oh, we're going to see some of that footage today, and we're going to talk about it. All right, there's tons to talk about, and we may not go through all of the content that I have lined up for today because there's just so much. And whenever I see this stuff, one of the things that gets at me and that bothers me is injustice. And the true meaning of injustice is an imbalance in the scales. Okay, and that's why the representation of justice, especially in the American justice system, and in most countries, is a blindfolded woman holding a scale and a sword. All right, she doesn't consider personalities. She doesn't take sides. She is blind to all of those things. Justice has to be blind. Justice should have no favoritism. But when I see favoritism playing out in public, on the news, on the internet, it gets me stirred up. I really want to be very measured with my reviews, and I will try. But many times when I see obscene transgressions of the law and of common sense, it gets me stirred up. I don't know if you're like me, but it does. It gets me stirred up, and I'm like, I hope I'm being very, very balanced in my take, because if I get too heated up, I might not be as balanced as I should be. So this is an educator during the NoKings protest, and let's listen to her take, right, on this whole idea of NoKings.
My first name is Victoria. I live in Havertown, Pennsylvania. I'm out here today protesting because I'm an American historian. I've been teaching American history for 40 years.
She's a historian. Let's go.
My entire life thinking about America, and I'm watching it go down, and I am terrified. Also, I have 3 grandchildren, and I'm out here for them. As a professor of American history, I taught immigration history, I taught women's history, I taught African American history, not to mention just mainstream modern history. And I know that in every single one of those areas, this government is trying to wipe out all of the research, all of the knowledge that we have gained in the last 40 years, so that we know.
These are accusations, and I honestly don't believe her, because I've been the same historical references that I've known since the 80s are still around, and they are still being referenced by some of the candidates in the Republican Party. So what does she mean by that? When people lead with "I'm a historian," "I'm a veteran," or "being a veteran," or "being a black veteran," and they try to put out credentials to say, here's my credentials, trust me, bro, everything I'm about to tell you is true. And she leads with that. I've been teaching history for over 40 years. And so everything else that you're trying to make us believe is a lie. How is the government trying to wipe out all of history? Can she tell us how? All right, I'll be interested to watch her podcast to learn how the government is magically erasing 1,000 years of history and, honestly, human common sense.
Know more about immigrants and women and African Americans, and they're just trying to wipe it out, erase it. Too much work has been done, and it's too important for our democracy. So that's why I'm here.
So how are they wiping out knowledge on immigrants and women? These are the people who have hijacked the educational system. People like her. I'm going to just kind of emphasize it. There is no rational evidence, no rational argument, just accusations and conflations. So she's the front runner. Now, why why did I say that the NoKings protest was a flop? First of all, the representation of people during the NoKings protest was made up of people like her, old, weak, people who possibly were trying to relive the revolutions or the turbulence of the late 60s and early 70s. Okay, these were the people who were at Woodstock, by the way. They were the ones at Woodstock getting high and sleeping with anything that would be interested in sleeping with them. Guys, that's what happened during Woodstock. Woodstock wasn't this fantastic, amazing Renaissance period. All right, it was a shameful, debauched incident. We'll call it what it is. The young people then were told that was the way to fight against the authoritarian global exertion of power, and they were fighting against the United States push into war in Vietnam. That was the way to fight. Get high, listen to music, and have sex with everybody. Does that make sense? I mean, please answer the question. Does that make sense? Is that how you fight against something like that? Where's the debate? Where's intelligent arguments concerning the value of human life and whether a country like the United States should be involved in global conflicts? That's how you fight against these things, not getting high at a concert, doing nothing for days but laying on your back, getting high, hallucinating, and sleeping with everyone that's available. So, I mean, that's who these people are. And it's almost like they want another resurgence of, that time when they stood up and confronted the man. Okay. Now, CNN is here trying to give us an update. Now, Gunther Eagleman said, the protests were a flop. I watched the protests. I watched the people who were protesting. It wasn't inspiring at all. Crowds in DC started to disperse by 2:33. A CNN reporter said the crowds are thin. I guess they all had to get back to the nursing home. Like I said, they were mostly old people, old or elderly white people, angry at Trump for what? Let's listen to CNN.
Well, Frederica, this program of speakers just ended a short time ago. I can tell you that the crowd is thinning out here. People started to leave. But, boy, it was jam-packed here just a few minutes ago when the program of speakers was still going on. You had Senator Bernie Sanders, who just wrapped up to a rousing round of applause. Senator Chris Murphy spoke. Bill Nye, the science guy, spoke. And, again, the crowds are thinned, but they're not gone yet. I mean, there was just tens of thousands of people packed into a relatively small space here on Pennsylvania Avenue. And they were pressing forward as they arrived, really to pack into a very, very tight space.
Yeah, so it wasn't that fantastic. There are just a bunch of people standing around at this location, listening to people give speeches about how they didn't like Trump. Joe Rogan says this about the protesters. Because I'm happy that the protest happened without incident. If you recall, I think it was the last live stream, we said a prayer over the event and said, look, let's pray that the event goes well, that there's no casualty, there's no incident that would spiral into a worldwide outbreak of protest, which is what many of them are hoping would happen. I was so glad that it just was a whole lot of nothing. But the one thing that we saw was who's really backing this NoKings idea. And to be honest, I don't think this was the brightest people in the United States. Some of them were being asked why they were protesting and they didn't even know. Like when you have a protest filled up with people who don't even know why they're protesting, ask them a simple question and they couldn't even tell you what they were protesting. It's amazing. It was just as if they The only thing that they attempted to do was to say, look, there were 7 million people at this protest. Now, we're going to get to that at some point. So here's Joe Rogan.
Protesting on the streets, and 99% of them are losers. The other ones work for the Fed.
I have a whole joke about that. It's like fucking, if
It's
I was
FBI agents and losers. That's all it is. The whole fucking, every protest,
Dude.
is FBI agents and losers.
I talk about this all the time. I'm like, for me, you want me to join a protest? You want me to get out on the street? First of all, to make a sign? The fuck out here. And then
you don't have to make the sign. There's a guy with a van who's paid by George Soros.
Yes.
And he's got stacks of
them out.
signs that were made at Kinko's. Okay, they're not homemade at all. And you can just fucking just pass those bad boys out.
Yeah, I'm never leading your revolution. My problem is my sign would say, ugh, or it's complicated.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, if you know anything about what he said about George Soros, my question is, why is it that George Soros is still walking around and causing all the trouble that he's causing? That's a question that I'm thinking right now. Okay, if you have someone like George Soros who funds protests, and everyone knows that he's involved, how come charges haven't been brought? Did he cover his tracks that well? It's just a question. Okay, so you have the protest. We're going to look at people who were at the protest and they were interviewed. So we're going to hear some of the things that they had to say. But this is an interview that Speaker Johnson was having on the day of the protest. All right, and let's have a listen.
So let's start with the NoKings rallies. You called these Hate America rallies. What do you mean by that?
Well, that collection of folks that I listed were certainly part of it. We congratulate them on a apparently violent free speech exercise. I was a First Amendment lawyer for 20 years. We defend that right. But the irony of the message is pretty clear for everyone. If President Trump was a king, the government would be open right now. True. If President Trump was a king, they would not have been able to engage in that free speech exercise out on the mall, by the way, which was open because President Trump hasn't closed it. In the last shutdown, 2013 era, President Obama closed the National Mall. It closed all the national parks, didn't allow people to engage in all this. So
you see, this is where the rewriting of history is happening. Obama did everything that they are accusing Trump of wanting to do. The cognitive dissonance is neck-breaking. It's amazing that they can have these kinds of reactions when the person that they've put up as the messiah of the Democrat Party did every single thing that they're accusing Donald Trump of wanting to do.
I mean, they needed a stunt. They needed a show. Chuck Schumer needs cover right now. He's closed the government down because he needs political cover, and this was a part of it.
We'll get to the shutdown, but just on this notion that these are Hate America rallies, and you not only talked about anarchists, Antifa advocates, pro-Hamas wing, and you said this is the modern Democratic Party. But
okay, so he said this is a Hate America demonstration or protest. We're going to look at different angles while people were being interviewed, and let me know if you spot an American flag anywhere. All right. Now, if you're watching this as one of the clips, sorry, you're going to have to go over to the other clips where the interviews were taking place. But just look at everything that you watch concerning the protest. How many American flags did you see in the footage? Did you see any? But you would find the Palestinian flag. You'll find the Mexican flag. You would find the Pride flag. You would find a burning American flag, maybe. But where's the American flag? That's the question. And so when you hear Speaker Johnson and other Republicans saying these people hate America, these are the clear things. Patriots value the flag of their country above any other country's flag. So when you have a protest, where you have the flags of other countries or movements in the vanguard, those people don't love your country.
I remember not that long ago what you said after the murder of Charlie Kirk, when you said that we should view fellow Americans not as our enemies, but as our fellow countrymen.
Yeah, I've never called anybody an enemy, but we call out
Hate America rally or, Antifa, pro-Hamas, those are enemies.
Well, there were a lot of...
No. You see, this is what these journalists do. And honestly, I used to think that they were stupid. But no, they are not stupid. They are smart. They are twisting words and trying to use your words against you. Saying that someone hates something doesn't mean that you hate them. He's trying to say, okay, because the Republicans or because Speaker Johnson said that this is a hate America rally, automatically means he hates them simply because he used the word hate in a sentence. Like, yeah, you might feel like this is dumb. No, it's a very smart thing. This is ABC. It's a smart thing that they do because they know that someone somewhere is probably cleaning their house and they're listening to this in the background. And whatever it is they're saying, most people who tune in to these shows are tuned into the voice of the regular anchors. So when the anchor speaks, that's the voice that registers because that is who they came to listen to. That's who they are accustomed to hearing. And when the anchors say these things, the anchor is poisoning the well. The anchor says, okay, you hate these Americans. That registers in the ear of the housewife who's cleaning her home, or the guy who's driving Uber and listening on his headphones, or the guy who's doing something as mowing the lawn. And as far as he's concerned, he's listening to the anchor. The anchor is his guide. And the guide is telling him, this person I'm interviewing hates you. It's a very smart move. And they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. And it's not about them not understanding the English language. They know. They know if they front load the accusation first, couched in a statement, whoever is listening may not hear anything else they say. Because what happens is a trigger. For those of you who are married, especially the guys, right? If you're married and you're watching, jump into the chat, say yes, I'm married, and once I say this, let me know if you can identify with this happening to you. When I'm having these conversations with my wife, especially when I'm driving and we're going somewhere, and she chooses that time to raise something that she wants to talk about, and she says a trigger word. I have a trigger word. All right. I'm triggered when I'm compared with other people or to other people. I'm triggered when there's this color that states that something that I'm doing isn't right or isn't the right way to do it. And then I try to kind of start defending myself. It's a trigger. It's a subconscious thing. And my wife and I have been talking about it like, whenever you do this, you sound defensive, you try to push back and so on. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying to work on it. I have a trigger word when I'm dealing with my wife. Everyone who listens to the media has trigger words. When they hear these trigger words that they've been taught to react to, they begin to react instantly. For example, if ABC is interviewing a Republican, there are trigger words that are front-loaded to prepare them to either reject what the person is saying or to outright discount anything that they're saying as truth, just to be able to make sure that their audience doesn't pay attention to what the Republican is saying. When they're talking to other Democrats, they also have trigger words that exalts the thing that the audience is listening to as morally acceptable, that they're on the right side of history, that the other side is full of hateful people. They couch all of those things. These are well thought out strategies. Okay. I got a response in the chat. Wade says, yes, he's married. Now, Wade, do you have trigger words when you're dealing with when your wife is talking to you and she says something and then it's like, okay, you just respond without thinking. There's a trigger word, and it could be a good trigger word or a bad trigger word. We all have good trigger words. We have bad trigger words. So let me know in the chat if you have those triggers. Okay. So that's what they're doing. So him saying that is well thought out.
Hateful messages yesterday. I mean, we have video and photos of pretty violent rhetoric, calling out the president, saying fascists must die and all the rest. I mean, I don't think that's loving speech. I don't think that's friendly speech. And I don't think it's pro-American to say those kinds of things.
Now, let's hear what the response is. Speaker Johnson just provided an observation. Here's what these people have been saying. Hateful rhetoric against the president is not loving speech, not hate speech. Let's hear his response.
So it's not about the people, it's about the message, it's about the ideology. And I will stand here every Sunday and talk with you about the dangers of Marxism and socialism and how it's led to the literal death of tens of millions of people in the 20th century alone. It is a dangerous ideology, and it is anti-American. It goes against everything that we stand for.
But you're not saying that this is all of the Democratic Party. It's not all of the people who are out there. I mean, it kind of reminds me of Hillary Clinton referred to Trump support.
So, look, guys, these people are smart. These people are smart. I have to hand it to them. They're smart. He laid an accusation. Speaker Johnson countered, gave him evidence that can easily be found online. While you're watching, you're going to see these videos of people at this protest. There was a woman. I'm not going to play the video. I'm just going to tell you. There's a woman. It was her birthday on Saturday. And you know what she said she was wishing for her birthday? That she would wake up to an obituary, Trump's obituary. That's what she said. This is who the Democrat Party has become, a party that wishes death on anyone they don't like. So he gives him the evidence, and what does the anchor do? What was he? He says, well, it's not all Democrats, because he's trying to hedge what Speaker Johnson is saying and saying, look, you're only seeing a fringe group of people. It's not a widespread sentiment. And that's what he's trying to do to his audience. You guys are still the good guys. Don't worry about what he just said about all the hateful rhetoric. Yeah, even if you agree with the hateful rhetoric, it's not all of us that are hateful, you know. You can agree with it, but since you're not doing any hate, you're fine. So that's what, these guys are so smart.
Half of them is the basket of deplorables.
I've never said that. I never called out. I never said it was the whole Democratic Party. But you and I have to acknowledge.
Sorry, did he just use Hillary Clinton's
Trump supporters are Democratic
What
Party.
On earth?
All of the people who are out there. I mean, it kind of reminds me of Hillary Clinton referred to Trump supporters, or half of them, as the basket of deplorables.
I've never said that. I never called out. I never said it was the whole Democratic Party. But you and I have to acknowledge the reality. Wait a minute.
So this is the modern.
Sorry, I'm having a marriage conversation in the chat. Hold on. I'm going to get back. It's these things that I see in the media that just get me all worked up. In the chat, Wade says, we hardly ever argue. I can't think of a trigger word from my wife. What does trigger me is a liar. Honestly. And look, I am triggered when I see liars. Look, guy, you're a good man. Okay, let's keep going.
Democratic Party.
It is, because look at the evidence. Look at what's happening in New York. They're about to elect an open socialist Marxist as the mayor of America's largest city. There's a rise of Marxism in the Democratic Party. It's an objective fact, and no one can deny it. We lament that. We decry it. We're trying to call it out because I want to make sure the next generation of Americans understands that is a dangerous road to go down. That's part of our calling. I think part of our responsibility as elected servants of the people.
Amazing. This was a good interview by Speaker Johnson. Now, if you can see my tab, you can see all these tabs over here are on one story. And I don't think I'm going to be able to go through all of them. Here's President Trump being interviewed. And here's what he said on Sunday about the protest.
Do you think that the government shutdown is all about this rally that's happening this weekend, the NoKings rally?
No, I mean, some people say they want to delay it for the king. This is
more
not
than
a king. You know, they're referring to me as a king. I'm not a king.
Right. No, but just so that Chuck Schumer could go and say, I'm fighting Trump.
Yeah, well, Chuck is, at the end of the line. He's being beaten by everybody that they poll against him. And, you know, what he did is he did the right thing a couple of years ago on something like this. And he got hurt by his party. And it doesn't, I don't think it matters to him. I think he's just so dead that he'll do anything. I think they could just stay out forever. I mean, to be honest with you. Now, what we're doing is we're cutting Democrat programs that we didn't want because, I mean, they made one mistake. They didn't realize that that gives me the right to cut programs that Republicans never wanted, you know, giveaways, welfare programs, et cetera. And we're doing that, and we're cutting them permanently. We're cutting a $20 billion project that Schumer fought for 15 years to get, and I'm cutting the project. The project is going to be dead. It is pretty much dead right now.
Yeah, so that's President Trump's response to the accusation that he's a king. And like I said earlier, a king would not allow this to happen, would not allow this to happen, right? They can protest, they can make their voices heard, but a king would not allow this to happen. Now, there's an accusation that I've been seeing make the rounds, and I believe that accusation. All right. That's right. If he's a king, he's really bad at it. He's horrible. Like, he's a horrible king. Look, they've said that Trump is a fascist. He's a racist. Yet you have people that he's working with who support him, who are black, who are Hispanic, who are Asian. He must be a horrible racist. And now they say he's a king, and he can't even get his subjects in line. He's horrible at it. Okay, I agree. All right, Nate Friedman.
Yeah, no,
What's that? All right, so let me lay this out, okay? Nate is the guy on the left. All right, I'm going to hide the chat. Just give me a second. Let me hide the chat so you can see him. So Wade is this guy on the left, all right? And he's crashing the meeting, the pre-protest meeting that the paid protesters are having. Essentially, Democrats can't have a protest if they don't pay people to show up and have the protest. So let's see what he does here.
Oh, okay. But I don't know.
Oh no, I'm just press asking questions.
Yeah, I think no. But no, it's I don't know.
Okay, so they had a full panic and just talked over each other. Now, this woman did the scripted right-wing troll line, which I guess they must have forgotten to pick up their signs, because that's exactly what they did to me last time. And before that, a different paid protester with the exact same sign followed me around the Take Down Tesla protest. So who are these people really? Keep watching.
I'm here to marshal and keep people safe. That's my job here today, and I'm just going to do my job.
What do you mean by marshal?
We help traffic. We help people with the traffic. We help cars redirect. We help bike messaging.
Okay.
We're helping people be safe on the streets.
Does that mean you guys are working with the NYPD?
Yes. We talked to them.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. That's interesting. But is there a briefing before, you guys work with the NYPD? Yeah. So how do they know that you're out there marshaling with them?
They're not blind.
And neither am I. This is you calling ICE thugs, and with a $50,000 bounty on ICE agents, you have blood on your hands. This is you taking it a step further and calling them the Gestapo. Back again.
The same lady claiming that she's just there and is not organized. Look at her.
At a different protest, and again and again. The company she works for is Rise.
Wow.
They are one of the nonprofits receiving a step further and calling
the company's name is what?
Again at a different protest, and again and again. The company she works for is Rise and Resist. They are one of the nonprofits receiving a portion of the $7.6 million from George Soros, and
boom! Look at that. Look at that. Hold on. Let me ease backwards. Jeez. Look at that. I keep saying this phrase, and I'm going to keep saying it. Once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. It's like when we went through the interview that we just watched. I've seen this pattern, and I just can't unsee it. Whenever it plays out, it's almost like I know what they're about to do.
from George Soros and were responsible for the takedown Tesla protests that often resulted in vandalism.
Yeah.
They claim that all of their events are non-violent.
Meanwhile, how come there's a lot of violence during all those events?
Which is odd because there's hundreds of pictures of their protesters getting arrested.
Yeah.
What they love to do is organize sit-ins at Trump Tower, and they're politely escorted out of the building and released from custody almost instantly, which means that the supposed king is quite forgiving with people trespassing his family's home.
Exactly.
The link to Rise and Resist goes straight through Act Blue. Now it's really her star players on the protesting field. Watch this. You see her? She works with Karen Shaw, the kazoo lady from the previous NoKings rally. This is her making the signs for Rise and Resist in their little print shop. Yes, I'm looking into this print shop. She protests whatever is on the schedule.
Guys, I'm gonna break protocol. Head on over to Nate Friedman's X account. He has a YouTube account. When I clip this out for the separate feed, I'm going to just put the link in the show notes. So if you're watching the clip, the link to his channel and his profile should be in the show note. Please subscribe, follow him, like his video, tell him I sent you. This guy does amazing work.
Back again in front of the courthouse asking to abolish ICE. To take the sides of the vicious, violent criminals that have been deported by ICE. She wants to, quote, free them all, and she's doing this sit-in again inside of Trump's home. The president is very aware of paid protesting now. Now I saved the best for last with this group because look at this guy here. Meet Yanish. He is a professional protester. Here he is, the infamous Karen Kazoo lady. You know how they frequently work in teams. Now, what is concerning about this guy in particular is not just that he is a professional protester, but that he is an election worker. His official start date was January.
Ooh. So now you have activists working as election workers. Wow.
2020. According to his LinkedIn, he is a director of architecture and engineering at New York City. And according to governorsalaries.com, he's receiving an annual wage of $121,000. The question is he protesting on the taxpayer's dime?
Yeah.
Casimir took part in the famous paid protester group photo that I've exposed. See the Karen Kazoo lady here? And of course, Stuart Waldman, who was on the board of Rise and Resist. Casimir had no social media that I could find, but here he is on his friend's Instagram, and he's clearly labeled in the caption. According to Casimir's LinkedIn, he is also a Columbia University alum, and here he is at an alumni event. Casimir has donated to a fund that was established to provide legal assistance and financial support to those who get arrested at protests. So he's spending his money wisely, and as a graduate of Columbia, I'm sure he's proud of what his alma mater is up to these days. Next up, I ran into a woman with a guillotine poster at the peaceful protest.
Yeah. This is going to show up on the segments where we talk about the violence in, the violent rhetoric during the protest. This is amazing work, man. This is amazing work. Wow. Let me look at the chat. Geez. Okay, so, proof that liberalism is a mental disorder. I agree with you, Wade. Ray says, George shouldn't have been let out, to be honest. I'm Republican. Well, we'll talk about that when we start going through the comments, because I don't want to take away from this, but that's something that you need to think about. How many years had he been in jail and so on? And it is the president's right to commute sentences. And you know what? When Democrats do it, mainstream media conveniently just brushes it under the rug. So I don't think we should dwell on that, but it's something to talk about. So Ray, I'll talk about it. I'd rather go to work and make money than protest. It's crazy. Maybe they have too much time on their hands. Many of them are homeless. Many of them are organized. Many of them are professional protesters. Like, they get paid to protest. Over the next 3 years, the balance of Trump's administration, we are going to see a ton of protests. We're going to see more of these NoKings protests, because I think that they don't have any other option. All they can do is just do more of the same thing that they've been doing. The only messaging that Democrats currently have is hate Trump. All right. So I don't think that that's going to change anytime soon. you know. So you're right. They have tons of time on their hands. All right. So let me see. All right. So let's look at. I'm going to hide the chat wall. Okay, so you can see this clearly. I'm going to play this because I found it interesting what he had to say.
If you have a NoKings rally in 2,700 places with 7 million protesters and the so-called fascist government in charge, the only response to it is 2 insulting memes. That was it. That the entire pushback to 7 million people demanding that the Constitution be followed was, oh, here's a funny meme. Nothing else. Because you know where you can't have 7 million people running around protesting? No kings.
No kings.
Anywhere there's a king.
Yep.
If you had a king, you'd not be doing that.
Yep.
That's for sure. You wouldn't be doing any of that.
Yep.
So, and then it got funnier because apparently some decision was made, and I don't know by whom or why, to hand out lots of American flags.
Okay.
Now, what do you think when you see a crowd of people with
hold on. I'm going to rewind. I said that I didn't see any American flags, but this was like they basically figured if we're going to look legitimate, let's hand out flags so that we don't look obviously anti-American, so that we can own these guys that said that we hate America. Oh man, it's amazing.
Don't you think the Republicans? So somehow it was 100% peaceful, which I compliment them on, 100% peaceful, and they were carrying American flags. And they were promoting constitutional rights. Am I wrong that they just held a Republican rally?
I don't think so.
Flag, peaceful, obey the Constitution. It was a MAGA event, especially because it was senior citizens.
Oh man.
The fact that people got paid for organizing this is hilarious, because what exactly did they get paid for? To promote the virtues of the other side? Have you heard of any Republican who was put out or somehow offended or somehow had a big problem with the NoKings thing? I have not heard of one Republican who had any problem with it at all, or even cared if it happened. I looked at it and I thought, oh, looks like people are getting together over this whole support the Constitution and wave the American flag thing. Maybe that's a good sign. So I don't know what they thought they would accomplish, but it definitely did not remove, it didn't remove Trump from office.
Nope.
If that's what they're hoping for.
The thing, and Scott Adams, great content from him too. If you can, go over to his channel and profile and like and follow. Let him know I sent you. So, one of the things that I said I enjoyed the most about the NoKings rally was you had all of these people who believed the same thing all in one place. This was meant to be the highest concentration of progressives since the Democrats, the DNC rallies for the presidential elections. All right. So this is meant to be like some of the biggest concentration of progressives. This is where you sit with them and ask them questions. What do you really believe? Why are you doing this? And you're going to hear some of the most outlandish responses. Of course, it's sad to watch, but you can't unsee it. So here's one of these progressives, okay? She's holding a sign that says, "Say no to kings." And let's hear if she understands why she's protesting.
No King's Day.
And why specifically are you out supporting No King's Day?
I think protest is important.
Why are you protesting?
How much time do you have?
A couple minutes. And what's the main reason you're out here protesting President Trump?
I agree with a lot of the decisions that are being made.
Is there any decision in particular you disagree with?
Okay, so I would start with, well, I don't even think it's appropriate for me to have this interview.
So what brings you out today?
Typical responses. Let's get some more. Here's someone that might, I mean, out of the entire crowd, you might find someone who has something decent to say that will get you thinking to say, maybe Trump really is a king.
Voter ID is racist, yeah? Like, should you need an ID to vote?
No, I don't think so, no.
Is it racist that CVS asks you for an ID to buy Sudafed?
Well, I think that there are certain people that should not be allowed to buy Sudafed, so I think it's a good idea.
So it's more important that you use an ID to buy Sudafed, but not to vote for the person that runs this country?
I'm not exactly sure.
Wade, come on. Wade says she's on 2 brain cells life support. Come on. Let's be nice. Let's be nice. People, I was speaking with my friend and I told him that most of these people have been hypnotized by mainstream media. They've been hypnotized and they can't essentially think beyond, I hate Trump and I will do everything in my power to get him out of office. They're essentially brainwashed. Okay, so I don't know, but maybe you might be right about the brain cells thing. I don't know. I don't know what. Oh, you guys aren't seeing the chat, so that's Wade. So Wade is leaving his commentary. All right. So guys, if you're watching, please let's know your thoughts in the chat because I enjoy exchanging these ideas with you guys in the chat. Okay. Let's talk about that. Now let's see. Now, look, if we decided to go through the internet and go through all of the man on the street interviews where people are being asked, why are you protesting? Why are you saying no kings? All right. We'll be here for the rest of the year. I guarantee you. And 99% of the footage will be cringe at best.
We're out here at the No Kings protest and we're asking all the important questions. Such as, if Trump was elected, how exactly is he a king?
Because he is trying to take control of everything. Like his checks and balances are not working. So he is just trying to completely disregard the Constitution.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of amendments have been kind of overcome, like in a way that they're not supposed to be.
Yeah, which amendments specifically?
The first one.
Trying to take away our
freedom of protesting.
What? You're protesting. It wasn't overrun or overruled. There's a problem, a rising problem, and I think it's gotten more obvious. Low information voters. These are people who don't even know what the Constitution says. She's trying to talk about the Constitution of the United States. She's a citizen. She can't even call out which constitutional amendments she's trying to talk about. Is it the First Amendment, Second Amendment? Which one? She couldn't say.
I would say that it's because even though he was elected, I agree, due process, he got what he got elected fairly, sure, but he's doing things that make him a king. Like he's taking away, civil rights.
How?
That's a great question. I don't particularly think he's a king. It's how people are viewing him as.
Actively.
Okay, that was it. I think she was self-aware. And I think there are people like her who simply know that there's no argument to some of the things that are being pushed against Donald Trump, but they have to stand with the Democrats and protest Donald Trump to make him look weak so that they can win the next election. So there are people who are like her. They kind of don't use the mainstream media talking points, but they go along in order to get the agenda of the Democrat Party, which is win more elections. There are people that are just Democrats. They vote blue no matter who,
Switching the levers of power in order to subvert elections.
And what does that mean?
Things such as trouble coming up with words.
Yep. They surely have their arguments together. They know why they're out there protesting President Trump. Okay. Here's another one. Okay, let's go. Oh boy. Someone went into the comments of the community post where I announced the live stream and said the NoKings protest wasn't a flop. And I was like, well, okay. Let's see if that, because when you look at a protest where now the protest is meant to drive home the argument. What arguments were they driving home? Let's see what those arguments are. And if they're not able to drive home their argument, then it was actually a flop. If they at least now, not every protest will end up with the protesters getting what they're protesting for. However, the protest is meant to bring visibility to the merits of their argument. So if you call the average protester to say, why are you out here protesting? The average protester should be able to articulate the principle that they are protesting about and articulate the argument and be a great ambassador for that idea. We didn't see that, in any of the videos so far. So let's see if we find something reasonable here.
What has President Trump done to make him a monarch?
He started to take control and do illegal things and that are not within his power. So that's pretty much what makes a person a monarch. They take complete control even though they shouldn't have it.
What illegal things has he done?
Come here. Illegal things. Everything that he
Wait, I know you're about to say something.
Or get elected. Every single thing since he's gotten into office.
So deporting illegal immigrants, is that illegal?
Deporting illegal immigrants, if they're here peacefully, yes.
What? If they're illegally here, though, if they came illegally?
If they came here illegally, I believe we're a country that stands for Lady Liberty. It said, give me your tired, your,
oh, jeez.
Give me everybody you can possibly bring into the United States, and it doesn't say ship them back out. It says welcome.
Awesome. Any issues in particular that you really disagree with Trump on?
No, because you're just baiting me. Have a nice day.
I was just asking.
It's sad that this is the kind of people that you run into. We're going through these videos and we're talking and we're reviewing them. But many times I experience secondhand embarrassment for these guys. Like, you can't even articulate your points. You can't even tell us why you're protesting. And when you're pushed only slightly, you run away. You can't even articulate the reasons for your protest. It's sad to watch. All right. It's sad to watch. Nancy Pelosi did a publicity stunt. All right. So this is a Benny Johnson video. We're going to watch it. She decided that she was going to, do one of her ripping something apart stunts like she did, during President Trump's State of the Union address during the first term, where President Trump had just given an address and she was in the back ripping these guys have been so cringe. All right. They've been so cringe for the last 10 years. It's not even funny anymore. And all they do is simply let everyone else know that they're unhinged. They don't have policy arguments. All they want is power. And if somebody else takes away their power, they do everything to make sure that the United States doesn't work the way it should. And it's just not something that I like to see. Okay, the chat. Where it says, talking about the lady that he says has 2 brain cells. She's obtuse. That is me being nice. Okay, I would not like to see you when you are really not nice, Wade. Okay, so let's watch this.
The capacity for Democrats to self-own these days has to be studied.
It's amazing.
The video that Nancy Pelosi posted for her No Kings protest. Looks like it was filmed at her nursing home. And she's trying to snap a plastic crown. But what you'll notice is
the jump cut.
They can't snap that crown. They have to do a very messy jump cut for the crown snap here.
Gonna tear up the crown.
And after this, Nancy Pelosi locked the comments on the post. What does that mean? That means that Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to hear from all of you.
No freedom of speech there.
What royalty would do by royal decree. They'd tell you to be silent and not make fun of me. Nancy Pelosi doesn't want you to notice the fact that she's been in politics, serving in Congress for nearly 40 years.
Look at that.
Different years. Nancy Pelosi has been in Congress longer than I've been alive. Nancy Pelosi is also from an aristocratic, nepotistic family. She's a Nepo baby. Her dad was a big-time Democrat kingmaker from Baltimore. Nancy Pelosi inherited her office and all of her money and all of her power, just like a king would. And Nancy Pelosi, of course, has enriched herself like a king or a queen. She's worth $300 million. How's that possible, given the fact that she only makes like $100,000 a year? Even in all the many years of her service in Congress, that doesn't add up to really like anything close to her net worth. Oh, well, she does it through insider trading, meaning that Nancy Pelosi can just go make money out of thin air the way that a king would increase their treasury by stealing from the poor and giving to the rich. So reverse Robin Hood here. Nancy Pelosi is, in fact, the queen, the king that she so despises. She embodies everything wrong with American politics. It really has become like a royal family. Her, Mitch McConnell, Chuck Schumer, all of the old and diseased that stay and literally die in office because they're so old. It is much like royalty. And more importantly, you know, the average term of a king in England was 18 years throughout the entire English.
Now she's been in for 40.
Was between 18 and 20 years. So Nancy Pelosi has ruled twice as long as a royal monarch.
Wow.
Would rule in merry old England for the crown that she can't snap.
That's amazing to know. It's amazing.
Problem.
Yeah.
Donald Trump has only served in office for 4.5 years. Nancy Pelosi served for 40. You tell me
who's the real king? Yep. Yep. That's the question. That's the question. The cognitive dissonance where people who have been in Congress all their lives, who've been senators for over 30 years, stepping up to say that Donald Trump is acting like a king, it's funny. It's hilarious to watch. It's hilarious to watch. You know, and when they bring up all these arguments, it's funny that it points back to them. It points back to them. Okay, so this video essentially is basically footage of the buses that bust in people, okay, to have these protests, and there's no need to play them because I think you guys get the point. Now, it's come to my attention that lots of violent rhetoric was on full display during the what? All right, sorry, the connection went dead for a bit. Sorry about that. So, let's see. Whoa. Okay. All right. So we're having. I need to close a few tabs. Need to close a few tabs. So give me a second. All right. This is a nice spot to throw out the call to action. Please support the channel, support the live stream so that I can buy a faster computer. All right, so I bought this computer. It's a Mac Mini M1 Silicon. I bought it specifically so that this wouldn't happen. I bought it last year. And today I'm having to deal with the fact that it's lagging. So that means that the computer needs to be upgraded or replaced, and is barely a year old. So this is sad. Sorry about that. I'm just going to close these groups. Live streaming is risky. Sometimes it goes great and sometimes it just bombs. And let me close this. All right. So that we can go to the next. Now, Democrats claim that they are the non-violent party, that there's more violence coming from the right than the left. And you have everyone saying it. But here's the average narrative coming from the regular Democrat during the NoKings protest. Let's watch.
You gotta grab a gun. We gotta turn around the guns on this fascist system. These ICE agents gotta get shot and wiped out. The state machinery, that's a full display right there, has to get wiped out.
So this guy was out there on Saturday calling for ICE to be wiped out, and everyone should get a gun. Okay. The man at the NoKings rally in Chicago who urged people to grab guns and shoot ICE agents has been identified as Moises Bernal, an employee of Wilbur Wright College in Chicago. All right, so this is a post asking people to call the school to find out if they support his views. It's funny, but it's as if these guys don't realize that the internet is going to out them. And when they get outed, they're going to go out there and claim that they are being persecuted. How do you step out there and call for violence against federal agents and think that nothing is going to happen? Well, let's see if anything does happen to him. I'm going to be watching this develop over the next few days. All right. Do you agree with what he just said? All right. If you agree, then I'm like, okay, so why? But most of us here don't. We're like, okay, so if you did this under the Biden administration, FBI will be kicking down your door and you will be arraigned before a judge within days. And possibly you will be convicted and put away for a very long time. All right. You had all these calls to violence. There were 2 attempts on President Trump's life. We're going to look at people are saying this might be an attempt on his life because a hunting nest was found facing where Air Force One was going to land in Florida, and they're saying like this might be another attempt. They're putting out this violent rhetoric out there, and people are reacting to it. Look, so here's a protester. Okay, here's a protester. All right, this is in Seattle. All right. He says, would you like to eliminate? I mean, let's watch this.
Who are you going to kill?
Nazis.
Who do you define as a Nazi?
What do you mean? It's pretty...
In this context, who's a Nazi?
Stephen Miller's a Nazi.
So you're going to kill Stephen Miller?
If I had the chance, yeah, I would.
I don't know if that's something I'd say on camera, bro.
I mean, like these are the people that the Democrat Party has made their constituents. People who just believe that if you don't like someone from the other side, then go ahead and eliminate them. All right. It goes on and on and on. And you might think that, okay, it's just the younger people. Here's an elderly man. All right. He's walking by, and listen to what he says.
47, explain it to me. I like the colors.
Kill the son of a bitch.
Kill who?
He's 47th president.
Look at that.
What's your name?
Dick Safer.
Glad we got that on camera. You know that's illegal, right? You don't threaten the president. You don't threaten anybody. But that's the problem with your guys' side. You guys get so emotional, you feel you need to threaten people. But don't worry, we're spreading love, and we're going to fix it.
Fuck you guys.
We appreciate you. God bless. God bless you. God bless. Hey, wow. You need You need to find.
That's an
God.
old,
That's your problem. You need to find
bitter
God.
guy. Literally wearing it on his t-shirt. And you know what? Republicans and conservatives are so conscientious. No one is going to go after this guy, with his walking stick full of hate, and no one is going to go after him. They'll let him die in peace. Okay? But if it were on the other side, he'll get arrested. We had a 72-year-old woman in her wheelchair who was parked outside an abortion clinic, arrested and sent to prison. Democrats don't care. They don't care as long as you do something that they don't like. Look, you could be 100 years old on life support. They'll send you to jail. It might sound extreme or facetious, but I think that's what, they're capable of doing it from what we've seen them do already. Here's another another incident. All right, these are the garden variety Democrats out there. All right. Now, if there's someone out there that says, you're misrepresenting me, I'm not like them, then you need to get out there and speak up against the nonsense that we're seeing. We're seeing an obscenely high amount of Democrats who are violent. So look at this. So this lady is counter-protesting a Democrat. So here's what happens. They're outside an ICE facility. All right. All right, now, I don't recommend that. She put her hand on the other guy, all right? I don't recommend that. So whenever you're doing these protests, okay, you don't put your hands on anyone. Now, she made the first move. I'm going to own it. I'm not going to say this was unprovoked. She was ringing a bell in the other person's face. And I don't know, maybe I should have watched the whole video before I put it up. But I think this is us just being fair, all right? We do have people out there who don't know how to do this right. You're protesting or counter-protesting. You need to just keep your hands to yourself and stand on your own. So she got punched. I don't agree with her putting her hand on the other lady, okay? But you do have a lot of pushback coming from the left, right? So I think it ended with them talking, and then she walked away. All right.
It is on video. It is on video. Fucking touch me, you're gonna get punched again.
All right.
Fucking touch me, you're gonna get punched.
All right. So this is in Portland. All right. So this is in Portland, and Portland is. We'll talk about Portland during a different live stream. All right. So you have that incident taking place. All right. I think that was also on Saturday. And then, yes, this is one that is very disturbing. All right. This one here is very disturbing. All right. So, this is what goes on in some of the schools funded by UNRWA in Gaza, all right, where kids are trained to hate the other side, all right? So here's a little boy being taught to hate his president, and just watch. This is a little boy. These are the guys that say hate has no home. Show me anywhere that Republicans or conservatives did this when Obama was in office or Biden was in office. Did they have an effigy or a piñata in the form of the person that was in office, whether it was Obama or Biden, and had conservative kids doing this to the effigy or to the piñata? Let me know in the chat or in the comment section. We don't train our kids to hate. We don't. We raise patriots. But this is what people who are so brainwashed by mainstream media have devolved into, training their children to become activists. On Saturday, while I was watching Nick Shirley's stream, there was a little boy standing on a platform leading a chant during the NoKings protest. They're indoctrinating them, not just in the schools, but even the parents are doing that. They're taking them on protests. It's amazing to watch. Okay? It's amazing to watch. And his father is right there. All right? He went there with his father. That's his dad. And a proud dad. Yeah. Nice.
Don't start that shit right now.
All right. So they're essentially raising their kids to hate conservative values. All right. So no, I think we'll
jump straight from the New York Post. Talk about how serious this is.
All right. Do I want to talk about this? Do I? Now, when you have the Democrat Party and the average Democrat pushing back against President Trump, you have stories like this breaking out. Maybe you've come across it, but let's talk about this. You have top Democrat officials, you have the average run-of-the-mill Democrat out there saying they hate ICE, they hate President Trump, they hate anyone that speaks up against these insane policies of open borders and allowing illegal immigrants to stay in the country. Here's what is going on now.
Jump to the story from the New York Post. Talk about how serious this is. The New York Post reports Mexican cartels put bounties of up to $50,000 on heads of ICE CBP officers in Chicago.
Mexican cartels.
Mexican criminals have offered Chicago gangs up to $50,000 to murder top officials at both ICE and CBP. The DHS has announced Tuesday in an intelligence bulletin. DHS revealed a tiered system of bounties starting at $2,000 for doxing agents, including details about their families. In two southwest Chicago neighborhoods, Pilsen and Little Village, local gangs have deployed armed spotters to rooftops to track law enforcement movements and relay the details via radio. The surveillance has enabled ambushes and disruptions during routine enforcement actions, including recent raids under Operation Midway Blitz, said DHS, which added that non-lethal assaults and rank-and-file ICE and CBP officers could net gang members between $5,000 and $10,000. These criminal networks are not just resisting the rule of law, they are waging an organized campaign of terror against the brave men and women who protect our borders and communities, Kristi Noem said in a statement. Our agents are facing ambushes, drone surveillance, death threats, all because they dare to enforce the laws passed by Congress. We will not back down from these threats. And every criminal, terrorist, and illegal alien will face American justice. I'm just going to stop. Trump needs to invoke the Insurrection Act. This is not a game. We cannot have criminal gangs and cartels telling us how we live our lives in this country.
Well, yeah, because these judges and certain law enforcement agencies in this country seem to be on the same side as these criminal organizations that are putting hits out on law enforcement agencies that are actually accountable to the president and obeying the chain of command.
And I think it's because they see the break in cooperation between Democrats and Republicans. They see that gap and they're exploiting the gap. They see that Democrats are running cover for illegal immigration and they see them as allies. They see Democrats use incendiary and violent rhetoric against the president and against ICE and against the DHS. So they believe that if they go ahead and do these things, they are essentially Hello. Okay, guys. For those of you who stuck around while all the buzzing was going on, thank you for sticking around. I set the tone. I did not know what you meant by your feed is buzzing. I didn't know what that meant. Okay, so sorry about that. I'm going to back up a little. Okay, so sorry about that. I need to work on my gear, I guess. I need to upgrade my gear, I suppose. So I said something about you guys considering supporting the channel so I can get better gear. So I guess this is a good place to say it. Okay. So thanks for letting me know. I set the tone. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I could have gone on without paying attention and I was wondering what's going on here. Okay. So we're going to just continue. I hope the feed continues playing properly.
It's using the military.
All right,
to go
it's
after
working.
Cartel members.
Right. Thanks, guys.
Blowing up the ships.
They're blowing. Those ships tend to be leaving from Venezuela. So Mexican. Okay. These are Mexicans. So the point being, like, this is not a fight they actually want to pick, right? Like the U.S. has ample ability to take apart terrorist organizations, which we've shown, whether people want to admit it or not, like the politics in the Middle East have been problematic, but the actual ability of the United States to find and kill terrorists, that is unquestionably they are the most deadly organization in the world. And so all the people that are like, well, you know, if you go after the cartels, they're going to go after Americans. Well, if they're putting the price,
they're already doing that
of ICE agents and stuff. That means they're already going after Americans. Yep. And if they're going after Americans for enforcing immigration law, not for going after cartel members in Mexico, not for disrupting their organization's business, but because ICE has the audacity to try to deport what are likely cartel members. Because they're not going to try and target ICE just because they're going after people that are of Mexican origin.
Yep. Just illegals. Good point. They're going after just illegals.
Yeah, but the point that I'm making is if the cartels are going to put a bounty on ICE's head, it's because they're deporting people that give them influence or sell drugs in the United States. So the U.S. wraps up cartel members, sends them back, deports them. The cartels don't like that because they're less influential. They have less power. So if that's the case, right, why shouldn't the U.S. start sending drones into Mexico to monitor what the cartels are doing?
Or it could do...
All right, so... the essence of this is basically the cartels seem to be in agreement with the Democrat Party. Last week, Caroline Leavitt said that the Democrat Party seems to be a party of illegal immigrants and criminals, since that is who they gravitate towards supporting. They will move heaven and earth to support illegal immigrants and criminals. And Hakeem Jeffries blew a gasket and began to, in fact, attack Caroline Leavitt, calling her deranged. And instead of tackling the accusation that this is who the Democrat Party has been supporting and seems to be interested in helping, he simply went after her and began to attack her personally, which of course was a bad look. And I don't think he was thinking straight when he said that, or maybe he planned it, because the go-to for many Democrats is if you call them out on policy, they attack your integrity and your personhood. So I guess that's just him playing out their strategy. Okay. Now, let me know in the chat. Okay. I know that the buzz started at some point. I'm a bit confused as to when it started. Did you hear my response to I set the tones comment on Tim being one of the OG boots on the ground journalists? Let me know in the comment. I need to kind of have a backtrack on where the buzzing started in the feed. Okay, so thank you for letting me know. I feel embarrassed, but still a small channel, still on a shoelace. I don't even have a shoestring, so I don't have a budget. Okay, but I'll keep doing my best to kind of bring you the best stories. Okay, so the story basically, ICE agents and DHS agents have bounties on their heads. The DHS is dealing with that. But here's what happened to Nick Shirley on Saturday, and I find it interesting. Nick Shirley was out and about interviewing people, and this is what kept happening to him throughout the feed. I was watching his feed. In fact, I was watching 2 live streams. I was watching his feed on one stream, and I was watching another streamer covering different locations. And this lady kept stalking Nick all through his broadcast.
Great day to make some money, right, ma'am? Maybe after today, I'll be able to buy some Gucci glasses like you. Maybe
like they kept walking around, pointing that sign at him, and I've seen that in other videos. So what do you think they're doing? Are they targeting right-wing or conservative journalists, independent journalists, so that anyone who might want to attack them or interfere with what they're doing can know who they are? Because this is disturbing. Does it mean that when you're a conservative and you go to a left-wing rally, they can point signs at you, letting everyone know who you are so that they can do you harm? I would feel very threatened if someone followed me around with a sign that said right-wing troll. It means that anyone who observed that happening can identify me and follow me home or wherever it is I'm going and do whatever they think they have the right to do to me.
I work extra hard and get some money from George Soros. I can buy myself some Gucci glasses.
So she's wearing Gucci glasses. Clearly she's well paid.
Mrs. Gucci? Miss Gucci?
Yeah, so you had that happening with Nick Shirley. I mean, this is the kind of conversations that kept happening. We have Nate Friedman again. All right, so let's see this interaction.
Can I interview?
So remember, I said that I was going to play the footage of the woman with the guillotine. All right. These Democrats, my wife doesn't like me calling them leftists, but that's really what they are. When she watches the video, she's like, I don't like the fact you're calling them leftists. It's a bit too, reductive and all that. I'm like, look, that's who they are. I mean, they do what leftists do. The history of the guillotine, of course, goes back to the French Revolution. And what people don't know is that the inventor of the guillotine, I think he eventually was executed by guillotine, which was funny. Okay, please fact check me and let me know if I'm correct, because some of these facts are right there at the back of my mind because I read them a long time ago. He was executed with his own invention. Okay, and she's holding up a sign with the guillotine, meaning, now, do you know that what the French did was that they executed the members of the royal family by guillotine? They chopped off, yes, I'm not going to complete it. All right. And let's see what the interaction with her looks like.
Yes.
Okay, amazing. Can you tell me about the sign?
A sign that I got inspiration from the French Revolution, and they got rid of their royalty and kings for good reason.
Yeah.
Yes.
So is this like, do you want to kill Trump with this, or is it just
it's symbolic.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Yes. Yeah. His term needs to end as soon as possible.
Why don't you have the picture of a polling booth, okay, and not a guillotine? This is a democracy, not a monarchy. Why not a voting booth? It's weird.
And we shouldn't support him because he's disgusting and he's killing democracy.
What do you think is the best way to impeach him, like get him out of there? On what charges, you think?
I don't know, to bring
felony counts isn't enough.
Bring back the rule of law, let it happen naturally, that when his term ends, it ends. I would love to impeach him, but no third term. He's already doing that. We're becoming in martial law in this country. Okay?
Are you referring to the National Guard stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
To protect Americans.
For you next. They will come for me next.
Really?
Do you feel that he's a king right now?
No.
You think that when do you think that he will become one?
Has he taken powers that he shouldn't? And, absolutely.
Yeah.
He is, yes. He's, what's the word? He's, what do we call him? Tyrant, autocrat, yes.
Yeah. I noticed the cafe. How do you feel about the ceasefire deal?
I don't think it's going to last. I have little faith.
It's one of the few things that I will credit him with. You are not there.
Well,
one of the few
there's a bit of unity there for folks.
Well, she's fair.
Credit him or no?
Not really.
She's fair.
I really don't believe. I mean, even now, there are people getting killed. They are funding. Israel is funding clans to kill people in Palestine, and they're sending photos of those people over to Israel and saying, "Yeah, take them out."
How do you know that?
Many people since the ceasefire.
Yeah.
That hasn't changed, and and Israel is.
And did she say? She hasn't said that that Hamas has been executing people, their own people, on camera in Gaza. She hasn't, but Trump is the problem, and Trump is the reason why the ceasefire won't last. Well, we know what's going on in the Middle East now. Hamas has essentially provoked Israel again, so the ceasefire is off, I guess.
Well, not Israel as a Jewish state and as a democracy, the two can't coexist, and I'm very anti-Zionist.
Like it shouldn't exist as a Jewish state; it should just exist as a
democracy with everybody having equal rights, not privileges for just one group.
What's the best way for folks to stay informed about this stuff? Like, what channels of news do you watch?
I mean, I'm trying to get away from just New York Times because that's insufficient.
Okay. And why do you say that?
Al Jazeera.
Because it is a newspaper.
It's pretty biased.
Biased toward the left?
It suppresses stories about particularly what's going on in Gaza.
Al Jazeera
really suppresses stories.
Okay. What other channels? Sorry, so New York Times and what else? You said Al Jazeera?
Al Jazeera.
Okay.
Crazy. Al Jazeera. Okay. Al Jazeera, anyway, I don't really watch much of Al Jazeera, but if you're on and you've watched Al Jazeera, I mean, do they strike you as balanced news coverage? Wade, so the feed was buzzing for 7 to 10 minutes. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Ouch. Wade, thank you for sticking around. Thank you. I appreciate it. Usually people leave when things like that happen, but you stuck around. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I am so encouraged. Thanks for hanging. Thanks for letting me know. Thank you. And thanks for staying. And those of you who are still around, I want to say thank you so much for staying. I appreciate it. It's really hard to put yourself out there, and when things go wrong, people leave, but for you guys sticking around, I appreciate it so much. Thank you. All right, so she symbolically wants to use a guillotine to get rid of Trump. She says it's figurative. All right. And we'll believe her that is figurative. Okay. Like there's tons of footage. Let's keep going. So here's another guy. Okay, he's interviewing people now. He's black. One of the things that I enjoy is seeing when white liberals get confronted with the fact that black people support Donald Trump, his policies, and are Republicans. They don't know what to do with that. This is one of those circumstances. Watch.
Okay.
Hate America protest.
I agree.
It's wrong.
It is a hate America.
It's a lie. It's a lie.
Tell me why.
Because these are the people, everyday people, and they don't like what's going on.
What's going on that they don't like? See, me as an American, I love what President Trump is doing. He's getting the criminals off the streets of America. Do we not want safe streets?
So
That's exactly what he's doing.
That is a lie.
Really? Whoa.
Now they go after his camera.
Look, peaceful. I'm being peaceful here. I'm not.
I think we need to move on.
I'm just having a civil conversation here. Don't touch my stuff, man.
Don't touch my stuff.
DC is a safe city right now. St. Louis is a safe city right now.
It was safe before.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. Not in the black community. Why? Tell me this. Why is it that white liberals don't have an issue with black killing black people in the black neighborhood?
Yeah.
Why is that not an issue for you? for you.
You have been doing.
I mean, see, y'all do this all the time. I don't understand it.
No.
And now you're getting upset with me because I'm talking about the great things that our great president, Donald J. Trump, has done. I mean, I don't understand.
Children? Do you mean like raping children?
Yeah. Which children?
You okay
Which children?
with raping children?
Which children? Which one? Which one? Give me an example.
No,
Give me an example.
An example, I have seen
Look at that.
videos of him. Children. Are
You've seen videos.
you out of your mind?
You got video of
It has
it?
been taken down. Don't be stupid.
You got video of it?
Don't be stupid.
Where's the video? It's always there.
Okay, do you understand what an insurrection is?
That's what's happening here.
That is what happened.
That's what's happening
That
here.
is what happened.
That's what's happening here.
You know what's the shame of all this?
What's the shame of all of it?
Black.
What? All I got to do with
Racists.
Tell me what? Tell me why.
Because he hates non-white.
Really?
People.
Oh boy.
Non-white people.
Show me.
If he was such a great
Please
guy,
show me, sir.
if
Sir,
he was-
please show me. Sir,
you know
please
what
show
they
me.
Keep saying?
Show me the
you know
proof
what
of that.
They keep saying. They keep saying.
Sir, please show me the proof of that.
The Republicans keep saying that he.
You're never going to get rid of this man.
No, I know.
Hey,
He's messed
there's
up.
hey, Chuck Schumer said don't allow MAGA to silence you, so don't silence this man. Don't silence this man. Chuck Schumer said it. Don't allow people to silence
to
you.
explain that you don't have
But
the intelligence.
I want to know.
Whoa!
What to do with it?
Whoa! He doesn't have the intelligence. In the comment section, and we're getting to the comment section, I had someone in there say something I took offense at. Very racist statement. I'm going to show you that, because this is what happens when they find someone who's black or an immigrant siding with President Trump's policies. President Trump's policies are good for American citizens. They are good for and the reason why I support them is I wish leaders everywhere, I wish the leaders of Nigeria treated Nigerians the way President Trump treats his own people, supports his own people, protects his own people. Then I wouldn't be an immigrant. Then I wouldn't be. Sorry, guys, I have to switch over to my backup AirPods. The battery on this one is down.
Your color has everything.
Please tell me.
Wow, color has everything to do with intelligence. Guys, did I hear that wrong? Let me back up. Let me back up. Those AirPods are so sensitive that when I take them off and put them in, I switch them out, it hits play. So let's back up. It says he doesn't have the intelligence to understand. Jeez.
Color has to do with it.
Your color has everything.
Oh my goodness. I am offended by that statement, but I refuse to. I refuse to. Someone jumped in the comment section a while back and said, "Why are you support?" It's a something that I'm paraphrasing now. It's a shame that you're black and you're supporting these people. They'll never accept you, no matter how hard you try. In the minds of these liberals, the only reason why someone would say something is to curry favor with the other white group. So in their head, the only reason why I would support Donald Trump's policy is because I'm hoping that somehow Donald Trump finds my video and then says, I like that immigrant. I'm going to give him citizenship. Crazy. That's not what I want. I want a world that works for my kids. I'm not looking for anyone to stretch out their hands and say, hey, I want to help you. No, that's not what I want. I'm doing this to tell the truth, simply tell the truth. And when people who see us do this and talk about these things and tell the truth and claim that why we're doing it is because we're hoping to be accepted as white people, that is racist and stupid, and it's being said every day. It is. We just have a collection of all of these people in one place. That's why I said the protest was good. It put all of these people in one place, and you could get all of this footage to actually hear what they think. And they can't hide it.
There are two parties. One is a party of Nazis and fascists.
Really?
The other party may not be all put together.
And Nazis, like, what do you mean by Nazis?
Hitler's fascists, people who want to use groups against each other, who feel that they can put one group of people in concentration camps.
Do you feel like Republicans want to kill Jews?
Yes, they want to kill.
Really?
They want to kill black people. They want to.
Really?
Can I just ask your credentials and what you're
my name is Nate. I just have a YouTube channel.
Nate, so we don't know.
Let him
side.
I don't care.
Just so you know,
really,
with a group that is just pointing out that there are some folks here who will take words and
no. You see, that's what these guys do. They accuse you of the things that they do themselves. All right? They will take your words and they will twist it and make it work against you to say something else that you didn't say. We saw that earlier in the coverage of the ABC interview with Mike Johnson. That's what they do. They lie. They try to make you look bad by all means necessary, and they're comfortable with it. And then they accuse you of doing the exact things that they do themselves.
I don't care. I don't give a shit. Let them deport me. Fuck cares about these. These are fucking. These are who have no fucking balls and they will troll. Let them troll. I don't care. I don't give a shit about trolls.
I'm giving you fair warning.
I know that. I don't give a shit about.
Who is she with? Why is she not letting you talk?
I don't care about trolls like Charlie Kirk, Fuentes.
What?
These fucking white ass bitches.
Charlie Kirk, a troll.
And that's who you just might be speaking to.
Let them hear it. You know what?
Well, at least we know where he gets his news from.
Who are you with?
Thank you.
Who are you with?
I'm with America.
Yeah, right.
Ask me who am I with, so I'm asking you who are you with?
Well, you're acting like a reporter with a.
I am a reporter.
Yeah, okay.
You want to see my press credentials?
I want to talk.
Wait, here's my press credentials.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so who are you with?
I'm right now I'm representing myself, and I'm representing the folks at Rise and Resist who have been trained
so Rise
to
and
be...
Resist.
Rise and Resist.
How much do they pay you to wear this vest?
Absolutely nothing.
Really?
Yeah, right.
So I did some digging, and the woman trying to stop my interview is named Karen Shaw. She's a professional protester. I found her at almost 100 different protests.
Whoa!
Portfolio, shall we? Here's her outside Trump Tower saying TikTok time's up. Here's her saying ban guns, not drag.
Wow.
This is her telling us that lies have consequences. She is also very passionate about abortion. Even in the video right now, she's just wearing a hat that says abortion on it.
Shocking.
This is deranged behavior, by the way. I studied psychology in college, and I'm confident that I can diagnose this person as insane. Sometimes she gets creative, though, and just holds a sign that says enough. Now, here I found her working with a different professional protester that I've exposed. This is Stuart Waldman. He was there when they raised the Palestinian flag over City Hall on Rhode Island.
Everyone knows you.
Everyone knows me?
They know who you are. They know what you do.
I know what you do as well, Stuart Waldman. You are on the board of riseandresist.org, the company that is paying people like Karen for a second job as a professional protester. And the donation link to give you money is just Act Blue, which is the fundraising platform for the Democrat Party. That's who you are, Stuart Waldman. Now back to Karen. I found her with another professional protester that I've exposed. This was back at the Tesla protest. This is just a few photos of this other professional protester out of maybe 50 that I found. It's clearly a very well-established industry, and Rise and Resist is just the tip of the iceberg. Now here's some more about Karen. I did find her Instagram where she just documents herself vandalizing New York City. She puts these chalk signs all over the place, like this one right outside the Trump Hotel. She also likes to flip off Cybertrucks and just post that on Instagram as well. If you just scroll,
that is deranged behavior, guys. Don't you think so? That is deranged behavior. Oh, I took out the chat, guys. Chat. Let me know in the chat what you think. Okay, don't let your voice go unheard. This is deranged behavior.
Through her profile on Instagram, it is the best case study for reopening the asylums that you can possibly make.
I agree.
Karen is the Associate Director of Development and Special Events at Lincoln Center Theater, which is devastating because Lincoln Center is a beautiful place that just got a little less beautiful after learning that piece of information.
I asked me how much do I wear this vest. I got
I'm not asking you. You seem passionate about it. I'm with you, brother.
Cute. Yeah. All the fucking right-wing Nazis and fucking says, right?
Yeah.
Charlie
classy.
Let me just ask you. If Republicans want to kill Jews, why is Trump so with Israel? Like
exactly.
Israelis and Jews are not the same people.
What?
These are different people. Okay.
What?
His daughter is not Jewish. She's married to a Jewish man.
She converted to Judaism.
No, who gives a shit? I'm an atheist. I don't give a shit about somebody being Jewish, Hindu, Muslim, or anything like that.
Gosh.
Okay.
What song is that?
What is it? What's your problem? Talk to me, man.
Yeah,
What's your problem?
This is so
what you're trying to? Yeah.
Is it filming?
No, yeah. Film me, man.
This is amazing. What song is that? We're gonna put you on YouTube. It sounds good.
Oh boy. This is just deranged behavior. People are trying to have a conversation and you do your very best to silence them and then turn around and say that the president is trying to take away First Amendment rights when he's not. When you guys are the ones who clearly violated First Amendment rights during the censorship that Joe Biden's administration, partnering with YouTube and other social media platforms, inflicted on Americans. All right. The cognitive dissonance is so jarring. It's crazy.
You're doing this for free. You're just this passionate about it. It's a mental illness, you know.
It is. Please head on over to Nate Friedman's channel, his X account, his YouTube account. Please go ahead and subscribe to him and follow his content. He does great work. I just recently discovered him and I'm blown away by the depth of research that he does. I wish I could do that, but I'm a parent. I had a career, in trucking. I no longer do trucking. I no longer work in trucking. I'm in between jobs and in between, I can't work right now. So this is what I do. So just go ahead and support him. And it's amazing that he's able to go deep and find all of this great footage and information about these guys. All right. So this is, he says that he wore his freedom shirt for the first time in his life, put on a MAGA hat, and there were lots of angry people. But he also had some good experiences because now it's dangerous if what I do all day is just show you the bad. I showed you earlier how someone who's a Republican who supports conservative policies put her hand on a leftist protester and she got smacked for it. And I did say, look, it's wrong to do that. We need to learn from our mistakes and not repeat them. Okay, so she did that. On this side, we have him going into the protest and he tells his story how, yes, there were people who didn't like the fact that he was coming in with his MAGA hat and his shirt. The freedom shirt is the shirt that Charlie Kirk wore the day he was assassinated. And please head on over to TPUSA and get a shirt. And while you're getting the shirt, please consider patronizing my merch store. Okay, we have some drinkware that you might like.
So I'm at the rally in Asheville, North Carolina, wearing my MAGA hat and Freedom t-shirt. And so far, pretty great responses. I was walking down the street here in downtown, and two men started running at me, and I was like, I don't know if this is good. And then they gave me a big hug and they said, we're Israeli. We love Trump. And then another woman came up and said, oh my God, I love your hat and I love your dog, because of course I brought Winston with me. But it's mostly just a giant costume party for elderly people. You can see it in its tail. It's so tired, but
oh man,
that's who they are,
All right, so the caption of the video, let's see. Yeah, well, he didn't showcase the angry people. During the last stream, I did tell the audience that I want to have a mix of good stories somewhere in the midst of all this madness. Because, I mean, if all I do is publish annoying videos where you're like, God, what's going on with these crazy people? And I don't include good stories that make you hopeful, it's going to be too jarring, and eventually this channel will just be the channel where you go to be depressed. Okay, so I'm trying to kind of mix it up with good stories. I have some really hopeful stories coming up soon. So just please stick around. And please, while you're here, please consider liking the video and sharing the video. Wherever you're watching from, we're streaming on my main YouTube channel and the backup YouTube channel on Rumble, on Kick, on Twitch. So please consider sharing the video and inviting people to watch this. And I'm inviting you to comment. Wade says, according to white liberals, Hispanics, Asians, whites, Arabs can vote either Democrat or Republican, but the black community can only and must vote Democrat. That is racism. I agree. It's as if they believe that the Democrat Party owns the blacks. All right. Doesn't that remind you of what I opened up with? Are you serious? Hold on. Okay. My OBS just went blank and I was wondering what happened. It kind of sounds like what I opened up with, where they're trying to rewrite history. The Democrat Party is the party that pushed slavery and the Jim Crow laws. That's who the Democrat Party is. And suddenly, it's almost like they believe that they own the blacks. Doesn't that kind of sound like slavery to you? And when they see a black person pulling away from that narrative, there's this reaction like, why is my property not doing what I want it to do? Okay, that's kind of the picture. Okay, that's kind of the picture that it gives off. All right, so let's see. All right, I'm not going to play this because this is very disturbing. It's very disturbing to watch people act out the way these people acted. So I don't think I want to do that to you. Or should I do it to you? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to reserve this video. If I see a yes, do it to... Okay, so say yes, do it to me. Then I'll play the video. All right, but this is a video where we have people just being... They're acting like they're demon possessed. All right, so if you want me to play that video, put in the chat, do it to me. Okay? And I mean it in the best way, please. So just say that and... I will go ahead and oblige you, okay? This is interesting. When she goes out to interview these leftists protesting, they threaten to tell their dogs to bite her. Very peaceful and loving, aren't they?
Can anyone tell me what fascism is? I know it's a little bit different than that. I really love your sign.
This is weird.
Will you stop? Puppies, how are you?
What?
Get away from my dog. Go. If you threaten our dogs, the dogs will bite you. Back up.
What?
You're threatening to have the dogs bite me.
You're freaking my daughter's dogs out.
Do you know what fascism is?
Attacking the press is fascism.
Which they were just doing, and that's what they're doing.
Got a fascist right here.
If you want to be this close to me, why don't you just use your words and we can have a dialogue? Silencing
these people are not well.
Well, they're literally doing the to
yes.
We're here.
This is insane.
Causeway, where there is a very small protest in front of the Dollar General, where these.
All right. Caitlin Bennett, another awesome creator that I just found. Please consider following her content, subscribe to her channel, and she's on X, Facebook, and she's also on Instagram. Please go ahead and follow her. She's doing some amazing work. A lot of people have been activated since the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and I mean, please just go ahead and support them.
People are fighting against fascism. We know that fighters of fascism all began the revolutions outside the Dollar General. So you can see we've got
this is insane
here. And
this is crazy.
Let's see if anybody will talk to us.
Oh my goodness. Silencing the dissenters. it's amazing to watch all of this play out. If anyone told me this was going on without video evidence, I would say, no, you're delusional. This can't happen. These people people who live in the United States or North America are rational people who don't act like animals. But this is crazy. This is crazy. This is just crazy, all right? Also, just funny to watch. All right, let's go to our next batch of stories. President Trump was shot at, all right? I thought I was going to open up with this story, but now so far, let me know what your thoughts on what we've covered so far. We're just going to dive into this story, then go into the hopeful segment. The hopeful segment is where we find stories that lift us up and encourage us that, look, the world is not on fire and irredeemable. So that's one of the reasons why we go into that segment. I talked about creating that segment during the last stream, and this is the first time we're running that segment. And I hope that it's an encouragement to you and that you can get some benefit from it, just like I hope it will. All right, so let's watch this report from Fox News about that incident where a hunting nest was found.
The FBI, by the way, is now investigating a hunting stand circled there, found near Palm Beach Airport with a direct line of sight to President Trump's Air Force One exit area.
Madeline Rivera is live in Washington with the details. Maddie, was it built there to go hunting or for other reasons?
That's what investigators are looking into right now, Ainsley. A spokesperson for the Secret Service says agents found the hunting stand while doing advanced security preparations ahead of President Trump's arrival in West Palm Beach on Friday. FBI Director Kash Patel is saying no individuals were located at the scene and that the FBI has since taken the investigatory lead, flying in resources to collect all evidence from the scene and deploying our cell phone analytics capabilities. The discovery prompted the president's team to make more security measures at Palm Beach International Airport, and that's why we saw the president walking up Air Force One using the small stairs on Sunday as he made his way back to D.C. A law enforcement source tells Fox News Digital the hunting stand appears to have been set up months ago across the street from the airport. You see it there.
Months.
A Secret Service spokesman saying, while we are not able to provide details about the specific items or their intent, this incident underscores the importance of our layered security measures. President Trump's security came under scrutiny last year after 2 attempted assassinations.
Yep, remember that one.
Ryan Ruth was found guilty of trying to assassinate President Trump as he hit.
And one of the things that was said last year was that I think it was Melania. She had a statement and she said this sounded. I think she said it felt like an inside job. All right, so everyone pray for President Trump. It's important that these guys don't get what they want. I remember I told you that a lady who was protesting on Saturday said it was her birthday and she was hoping to get a birthday present of an obituary of President Trump. These people are insane. And you know what? They will celebrate if anything happens to him. And what happened with Charlie Kirk was one thing, but the assassination of a sitting president who happens to be conservative after a series of attempts on his life, and of course the assassination of a prominent conservative influencer, it's not good. So you guys pray for him.
Along the tree line of the president's golf club in West Palm Beach. Coming up later this morning, FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino will be appearing in the show to talk about the hunting stand.
All right, so that's the report. It was set up months ago. Lots of conversations there. We have this post on X, but the news story covers it well enough. All right. I don't see anyone saying that they want the story or the video that I mentioned earlier being played. You guys don't want it to be played. So we're going to hopeful. We're going to start with a report by Decoy Voice. Decoy Voice, love his content, funny, lighthearted, talking about the NoKings protest. We're going to take that and then go into several stories, amazing stories that you're going to love. let's jump into it now. Head on over to Decoy Voice, subscribe to his channel. He does great content covering news and culture, and he does it in his own unique way, and I love it. I wish I could do it like him. I can't. This is what I can do. I can talk with you guys, go through the stories, give you my point of view as an immigrant, and my own experience from a third world country where some of these things that the Democrat Party are trying to instill in the United States or in North America have already been tried and have failed disastrously. So I'm just going to be doing this my way, but I love the way he does his. So let's listen to him.
Congratulations, Democrats. Your No Kings rally successfully accomplished something done over 200 years ago. The only thing it cost you was your dignity, as the Chicago protesters came out, actually wearing clown costumes, which is nothing compared to the other activists dressed as insects. I honestly want to know how they successfully did this to these protests.
This guy, it is a mental illness. Guys, Wade, you said these people are delusional. I agree. They are delusional. They've lost their minds.
In order to defeat the monarchy that pitched this. I honestly want to know how they successfully pitch this to these protesters, saying, hey, in order to defeat the monarchy that doesn't even exist in this country, we need you and all your friends to dress up like head lice while I beat you with a stick. You can't convince me that he isn't secretly a Trump guy. Just testing how much they degrade themselves before ever asking, why? But looking ridiculous is a given, where Chicago looked like a fever dream version of the Patriot with inflatable idiots. As a Revolutionary War was also about removing a king from America, but none of these guys are Mel Gibson, and this couldn't end a monarchy. But ironically, these protesters were also defeated by cavalry. As Anthony Cabasa captured over in Los Angeles, the EBT tribes were originally peaceful. But going into the evening, they eventually reverted into riots. Where the protesters sprayed police with silly string, so once again LAPD brought in the samurai cop cavalry, reminding the rioters these horses are cops second and wild animals first. This has kind of been the go-to move for LA coppers, as last time they saw ICE riots, they came in riding like Revolutionary War cavalry, and even 2 years ago, they rode in on the Roe v. Wade protests to dish out some equestrian consequences. But this No Kings Day didn't end well in basically any city, as Portland protesters were planning on playing with bubbles, but were eventually tear-gassed, while the feds casually chilled up there in their tent.
Since we've been on the ground, I apologize if it's hard to hear it, but we need to have the gas mask on in order to... Wow, look at this. The amount of flashbangs. 7 individuals are driving the flashbangs and throwing them right back at the federal agents. Look at this view right here. Look, it's not trying to kick the tear gas. I have... so far we have not seen this amount of crowd control munitions used on the protesters.
How many protests?
Boiling point.
How many protests
outside?
How many protests did conservatives carry out during the Biden administration? Of course, they would scream January 6th. That doesn't count in my books. Obama, how many protests did the conservatives do? So when you see this pattern, it's just clear that this is the Democrats' go-to. So the Democrats essentially have become a party of activists. They are not politicians anymore. They don't lead. They are not a party of leaders. They are a party of activists because this is who they attract and this is what they encourage.
It really seems like we're reaching a boiling point with these protests outside all the ICE facilities, where one by one the actual agitators are getting arrested until they won't have anybody left. Now the media is desperate for you to think the No Kings movement had massive numbers.
The No Kings protests happening in all 50 states and Washington, D.C. today. Organizers expect millions of people to turn out in more than 2,700 cities.
Millions!
MSNBC's aerial coverage of the Boston March is questionable, and even though the march in New York City did have a large amount of activists, when you got to the ground level, they all seem so old. Where reportedly this
MSNBC's coverage of the Boston protests was fake in the sense that they were showing a protest from 2017. So and Ali Velshi was screaming, "Look at the crowds!" as if that was actually real-time footage. You know, these guys are just crazy.
Did quite early, as suddenly they can't seem to keep their activists active after sundown. And Portland was more the same, with much older individuals. North Carolina was also represented by
the protesters are paid by the hour.
And up in DC, it's almost like they were required to be at least 60. But it makes sense as they're listening to leaders well into their 80s. And in case you didn't catch that, Nancy Pelosi had to use a jump cut to break that crown. And if your leaders have to strategically edit a video to even pretend to break a piece of plastic, I somehow doubt they'd be able to overthrow an actual monarchy. Well, stupidity is essential, as this movement is a known
yeah, we watched this one.
Intelligence.
Why are you protesting?
How much time do you have?
Couple minutes. And what's the main reason you're out here protesting President Trump?
I agree with a lot of the decisions that are being made.
Is there any decision in particular you disagree with?
Okay, so I would start with, well, I don't even think it's appropriate for me to have this interview.
And this is a common theme amongst the left.
What crimes have those people committed?
You want to look it up on Wikipedia? There's like a list.
Well, you made the sign, so I'm asking you.
Exactly. You like what?
I'm at a protest, though.
Yeah.
I don't need to know anything. I'm here for my community.
Okay, so you make a sign about people being criminals, but you don't know what you made it for?
All right.
Yeah.
So I make a sign supporting my community and the people in it.
Yeah.
And I'm not ashamed.
I know. You shouldn't be ashamed of your sign. I'm just asking what crimes they have committed.
I don't have to list them to you. You can simply look it up.
Almost proudly being NPCs.
Trump's a
Yeah, why is that?
And why?
Oh, we don't like him. That's the word around here.
And well, he just said the quiet part out loud. Because we don't like him, you know, it's okay to hate him. And there's no argument as to why they're having the protest, just we hate him.
Any particular reason why you don't like him?
No clue at all. I'm just going with everybody else saying.
And the saddest aspect about this is I could easily fill 50 minutes of interviews just like that, as virtually everybody at these
50 minutes, a whole month of interviews, a whole month of videos will cover the insanity at these protests.
Kings protests can't articulate why they're protesting something that doesn't even exist beyond parroting shallow talking points they were taught on social media. It's just interesting how coincidentally, after they cut the funds for USAID, all these massive protests would plague every major city whenever the Democrats didn't get their way, disappeared overnight. As normal people won't fall for this level of idiot activism, where they suddenly wanted to change No Kings to No Tyrants, not wanting to mix messages with countries with actual monarchies. This is really about Trump. So according to the Democrats' No Kings rally, it's okay to have a literal king, just not a popular president that puts his own citizens first. Let's just call the democratically elected guy a king and claim we're somehow saving democracy. As with the left, words now mean nothing. When Rolling Stone reported on this peaceful protest, publishing the article 1 day before the protest even occurred. It's easy to classify the riots that required the samurai cop cavalry as peaceful.
The day before.
Care who gets hurt. Reality means nothing when your audience is so submissive, they'll believe whatever they read. Hold signs they don't even understand, and will literally dress as an insect while you smack them with a stick. All because they told them, this will stop the king.
This is crazy. Now, head on over to Decoy Voice. Subscribe.
Commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality. Subscribe to Decoy Voice, or check out the side live stream channel, Decaf Decoy.
Yeah, so head on over to his channel, subscribe to his channel. Amazing work. So, first story. All right, we can only take one of these. So we're going to go with, we're going to go with this story. All right, so this is a good story. Usually the live streams should run for an hour, but because I'm starting something new, I decided to kind of cut loose and let this go longer, and it's gone much longer than an hour. So we're on the downswing, but we're going to go into the comments. Now, this is a great story. You and I are going to be experiencing it together, okay? Because it's interesting. This person, I'll let them tell the story. I don't want to drag this out. Let's go.
Why do you hate Trump so much?
I haven't liked him since 1986, and it's personal. I know where your guys' agenda is, and you can just keep moving, okay? Because I've had these discussions with you guys before. You say you're independent journalist or whatever the fuck, and then you nitpick what I say. So please move on.
Have I not been fair to you? Okay.
No, you have.
I'll respect that.
No, I'm just saying.
They're with me. They're with me.
Okay.
They're just my camera guys. They're with me.
No,
it's just me and you, brother. It's just me and you. That's it.
But we're done.
Okay. All right, man. Hey, take care of yourself. Okay.
And I want to tell you one thing. Okay, Charlie Kirk. I didn't agree with that. Not all of the left, were willing to, are out there making fun of that horrible situation.
Which is true.
I didn't like the guy. I didn't like what he, a lot of stuff that he stood for. But to take that kind of action and take him away from his wife and his kids, that's fucked up.
I know that you're an atheist, but I mean, I would love it if you came to church with me sometime, just chill.
You know, I was raised a Christian. Yeah. My parents were Christian. My grandmother, who I was very close to, she came down with cancer. We moved her into my house, or into our house, and for 9 months during the age of, I was 15 at the time, my brother was 13, and we prayed, and we prayed, and we prayed. Please save our Nana. So we prayed and we prayed and we prayed, you know. Yep. And she just got worse. And then it would be the nights where my parents were, you know, with her in the bathroom at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, and she's throwing up because of the chemo. It broke me. It broke my brother.
I bet.
And then when I started questioning, you know, when I started questioning my prayers and I started questioning the church, I got shunned. Family.
Look at that.
Away. Just because I was asking questions.
What's your name?
My name's Spider Mike.
Spider Mike.
Spider Mike.
Can I just tell you something?
Yeah.
You being shunned for asking those questions is not what Jesus would have done.
Oh, I know.
Yep.
I know.
And I'm sorry that happened to you. That's nonsense. Honestly, if I were in your position, bro, I'd probably be an atheist too. To be honest, dude, I'm being honest.
It was tough being shunned by the church, which I was very close to. And still, I just wanted some answers.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I've had a lot of bad people, bad Christians ruin it for me too. There was a time I questioned
me too.
Please don't let it be something that takes you away from actually at least believing in God, because it's between you and God. It's not between those people that ruined it for you, right? And so I really encourage you, man. I mean, you seem like a really good dude. It just sucks that bad Christians ruined it for you, because that's not how it's supposed to. That's not what Jesus would have done. Jesus would have been like, come here. He would have hugged you, and he would have comforted you, and he would have said, hey, these are the answers to your questions. They wouldn't have shunned you. He wouldn't have shunned you out of the church, man. So, anyways, get down my number. I want to talk without cameras.
I'm sorry. What was
David?
I'm sorry.
David. Yeah.
I got bad hearing.
Yeah, David.
Construction hearing.
Yeah. So, you know, these kinds of interactions are the kinds of interactions that I wish I could have. And I hope I can have these kinds of interactions in the future. Because when you're covering news and politics, it's easy to slip into this thing where it's a combative conversation where you're trying to talk about policies that you don't agree with, and then you forget that there's a soul in there that needs help. Yeah, we've seen all of the insanity from the protests, and most of it is more like, well, what do you believe? And none of them, can actually say what they believe. And in the end, it's actually a sign of brokenness in their lives. And it's great to see this kind of conversation go from, hey, I can see that you hate Trump. And then he goes into his story and you can tell how he wound up where he is, and people are in pain. Most of those protesters are in pain. They were broken at some point in their lives. And now they've been so open to believe a lie that they are now weapons in the hands of these leftist masterminds trying to destroy North America. So it's a great story, and I hope to be able to bring more hopeful stories in the future. I'm going to look into the comment section, and I'm going to be, okay, so the chat, Wade Orr says, Twinkies from hell. I think he's referring to some of the comments that were made in the footage. All right, so I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to hide the chat area so that we can look at this closer. All right, so we have all right, so James Brown, in response to the last video where Chuck Schumer urges Democrats to resist Trump forcefully, he says if anyone is promoting violence, they should be prosecuted and imprisoned for trying to incite people to commit that violence. All right, sorry, my wife is sending me a text. I need to respond to her. She's been patient with me. Tonight is meant to be our date night. Tonight's supposed to be our date night, and we have to pray with the kids. So I will go through these comments. If you have statements in the chat, I would love to also. All right, so I have a bunch of these comments. There are tons of comments, but I'm going to read a few of them. Okay, the Panama Canal would belong to our adversaries now if Kamala Harris had won last year, which I think I agree. Arming yourself under a fascist regime is not inciting violence. It is literally just preparing for the very likely worst case scenario. Come back when he says to attack ICE officers or start offensive violence. I'll say he's saying all he's saying is making ourselves hard targets. Don Lemon isn't referring to American citizens. So basically what you're saying is that we're talking about illegal immigrants. We're talking about illegal immigrants being told to get weapons to defend themselves indirectly by Don Lemon. That's crazy. Right? If you haven't watched that video, please go ahead and watch the video so you can have context to that comment. It's insane that you can see people talk like that, and they think that there are no consequences for speaking like that. Police forces are always looking for qualified personnel, even if he's not good at English. Well, that's speaking about the police officer who was found in Chicago, who was an illegal immigrant, but yet a sworn police officer, which was crazy. Okay, let's see. I'm looking for the message that I referred to, but like there are tons of comments, and you guys have been amazing in the comment section. Thank you so much for dropping your comments. Larry, peace and blessings back at you. Thank you so much for leaving that comment. I'll read two more comments. The civilian population of America owns about 400 to 500 million firearms right now. And I bet 90% of them are not Democrats. Yeah, when you have Don Lemon with his faux bravado trying to say, get a gun, defend yourselves, Democrats have been cowed into submission for such a long time that it is hard to imagine them being the group that will take up arms to resist trained law enforcement. Okay, you've neutered the men in your party. Okay, you're made up of soy boys and geriatrics. It's hard to see you be that group of people that can resist trained law enforcement. So when people like Don Lemon are telling you to go buy guns, they have private security. They're telling you to go put yourself at risk so that they can have a story to spin when the chaos breaks out. All right. I guess we'll stop here. Sorry that we couldn't go too deep into the comment section. There are tons and tons of comments, but you guys, I have to head downstairs to pray with my family, and my wife will need a date night tonight. I need to be a responsible dad. Thank you so much for encouraging me with the chat. The chat has been encouraging today. Thank you so much. I'm going to do a roll call. For those of you who engage, Wade or Raise Realty, I Set the Tone, and Larry Glass. Thank you so much for your engagement in the comment section. I appreciate it. It encourages me to keep doing this, and it helps me know, okay, what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong. I appreciate all of the love in the chat and in the comment section. I hope you consider being more active during tomorrow's live stream. We're going to be back tomorrow, and I'll see you on the next one.